I'm Laurie Duchek, an Information Officer with the Regional Emergency Operations Center, and today I'm joined by the Emergency Operations Center Director, Christina Carbrey. Our focus today, on July 24th, in about 1 o'clock in the afternoon when this video is being filmed, is around the evacuation planning process. And I think that it's really hard for people. They hear that an evacuation alert has been issued, and they don't know what's happening behind the scenes. And so the first question is, what are you going to do? Are you going to have plans? If something goes to an order, how am I going to get out? Where am I going to go? And I think it'd just be really helpful for people to understand the work that goes in behind the scenes on emergency evacuation planning, but also in this particular example, when we have so many people with the entire city of Kimberley within an alert area, and then also the St. Mary Lake area also on alert, the kind of planning that is happening, because it's really extraordinary, and I think will be really helpful and hopefully comforting for people to know just exactly what is happening behind the scenes. So maybe just sort of give us an idea of what's happening.
Yeah, that's a great question. There is so much planning and preparedness that goes into planning for evacuations, and especially when you're looking at one at the scale of potentially an entire city. So a lot of the things that we do kind of as a standard basis for any evacuation is coordinating with partner agencies. So we're looking at working with RCMP, search and rescue, fire departments, Ministry of Transportation, lots of different people that are involved in moving people in a significant event. We're always trying to be as efficient and effective as possible and ensure that we're moving people in a safe, coordinated way to ensure that they're actually getting out safely. But the other piece of that is when you are removing people from their homes, and it is a really scary and stressful time, we want to make sure that we have places set up for them to go, where they can get information, where they can get emergency support services, support if it's needed, and just somewhere to come and gather information. And so some of those places are reception centers, which is where we have ESS, or Emergency Support Services volunteers, ready to greet and support people and work through that process. But in a situation like the city of Kimberley currently being on alert, we do things like set up potential group lodging. So places where people might be able to stay, because commercial lodging, like hotels, get overwhelmed very quickly. So we're standing here today in one of the places that we've set up as potential group lodging, with some cots behind us. And it's just, it's great to have a place where people can come, be safe, and know they have somewhere to be if they don't have friends or family that they can stay with.
And often that's just a temporary solution, but having somewhere to at least know that you can go is really important. And I think a greater message as well for the community is just the amount of time that this takes.
Yeah.
And so obviously you use every second you have. If you have the advantage of having a bit of time, it allows for a lot more of that pre-planning. And standing here in this facility, we can see a great example of how that pre-planning has laid out, and also can be a support for the entire region, moving forward with this setup now. You never know what might happen around the corner, and this is something that will potentially be able to be used in future events should they be required.
Absolutely.
I think another thing maybe to mention is for the public that they see this happening, the preparedness needs to happen. And like we talk about at home, making a plan, being prepared. There's so many different agencies involved. And I think about we've had both school districts involved. The city of Carbrey's been involved, BC Ambulance Service, RCMP, Search and Rescue. Obviously the city of Kimberley has been very intimately involved in everything and collaborating. The regional emergency program, the provincial regional emergency officials. Search and Rescue has, been reaching out to volunteers far beyond our boundaries. So this kind of planning is really intensive, and it takes time to roll out. And so if people see things happening in the community, such as centers being set up, or they are involved in those kinds of things, it's an indicative measure of planning.
Absolutely.
Not of an outcome. And I think that's really important for people to understand. Maybe you can just speak to the importance of kind of the planning piece for your team.
Yeah. There's so many different variables that we pull together when we're looking at that. I mean, we're looking at things like, where do pets go? People will have pets, they need to evacuate with them. So we're working with local nonprofit pet rescue organizations to help have people who can take care of pets, because sometimes if you do end up in commercial lodging in a hotel, they're not always pet friendly. And sometimes, you have to take what you can get. So we're trying to figure out pieces there where we can really help people make sure that they're supported really well. But yeah, I just really do want to stress, similar to you there, Laurie, the planning piece is so important. Like, having these set up is so much better than having a whole community or even a partial community evacuate somewhere and not have anywhere to go. We don't want people to have to sit in cars and not have somewhere safe and comfortable to be. And so these planning pieces are not meant to be scary when people hear about them. They should really be that extra piece of comfort for them, and also that reminder that while we are taking steps to prepare and make sure people are taken care of, they should also be doing that too.
Absolutely, and a key part of the preparedness. There's a few things that you can do just as part of your everyday preparedness, but certainly if you're in an alert area, a reminder, sign up for the regional evacuation notification system. Make sure that you pre-register for your emergency support services, and we've got steps on our website to teach you about how to do that. Make sure you've got a plan, you've talked with your family about it, reach out to friends and neighbors, check on them, let them know if you need an extra hand. There are all kinds of resources in place, and we just encourage people to make sure that you make preparedness part of your planning right now, particularly if you're on alert, but really anywhere in the East Kootenay, because you never know when an emergency might happen.